Bonsoir et bienvenue à la réunion du Conseil en date du 20 août 2026. Good evening and welcome to our Council meeting of August 28, 2026. Council members, membres du Conseil, Monsieur Turpin, directeur par intérim, bienvenue. Monsieur Legault, notre nouveau surintendant des infrastructures, bonsoir. Chef de département, Head of Departments. Monsieur Leroux, l'occasion est spéciale, c'est pas souvent qu'on vous voit ici. Bienvenue. Gens dans la salle, those of you who are with us, good evening. And those of you watching us on YouTube, good evening and welcome. On va passer à l'item numéro 2, qui est le Land Acknowledgement. Alors que nous nous réunissons ici aujourd'hui, nous reconnaissons respectueusement que les terres sur lesquelles nous vivons et travaillons au canton de Champlain sont situées sur le territoire traditionnel et non cédé des peuples Anishinaabe, y compris la nation algonquine. Nous reconnaissons également que le territoire englobe les terres traditionnelles et visé par un traité des peuples Haudenosaunee, y compris la nation Mohawk. We gratefully acknowledge these First Nations for their guardianship of this land, and we honor them. We are grateful for the past, present, and future contributions made by First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in shaping and strengthening our communities. Sorry for the mistake. Ça va à l'item numéro 3, l'adoption de l'agenda, adoption of the agenda. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that Council approve the agenda of the regular meeting of August 20th, 2026, as presented. Proposeur appuyeur, M. Roy, seconded by, appuyé de M. Lalonde.
Monsieur le Maire?
Yes, Madame.
Just might like to note that we added a couple of items in camera on human resources.
Okay. So therefore, at the agenda, we've added, in regards to the in-camera, we've added two new human resources subjects. Yes. So that will be part of the in-camera edition. Any other questions, comments, additions? All those in favor? Those against? Carried. Item number 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll go all the way down to report number 8, staff reports. 8.1, planning. 8.1.1, ongoing planning projects. A full report. Be it resolved that the ongoing planning project list, as presented by the planner on August 20th, 2026, be received and filed. Proposeur appuyeur, mover and seconder. M. Duval, appuyé de M. Minor. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.1.2, zoning bylaw amendment application, Dupont General Contractor, Inc., file Z-04-2026, preliminary report, which was just presented to us by the public meeting. Mrs. Jariwala, again, you have the floor.
I don't have anything further to add than what was discussed in the public meeting, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Membres du Conseil, I'll read the resolution. Be resolved that the Planning Department report file number Z-04-2026, dated August 20th, 2026, regarding the zoning bylaw amendment for the property legally described as Plan 35, Part Lot 1, West Pendleton Street, RP 46R7587, Part 1, in the Township of Champlain with the tax roll number 0209-010-001-07405 be received, and be it further resolved that a final report and bylaw be brought forward at the next regular council meeting. Proposeur appuyeur, Mr. Duval, appuyé, seconded by Monsieur Barton. Again, any questions? Question, Mr. Barton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madame Jariwala, I'm just trying to understand the map or figure 1 in the presentation here. To be clear, to the north of the property, there's a little abutment of land. Is that associated with the field or the large parcel kind of to the west? It doesn't, the property in question isn't immediately adjacent to the property to the north, 122. I think, I see it's attached at 128, but as you go north on Pendleton there seems to be a little inlet of land. Is that, am I right in the way I'm viewing that map?
I'll have to pull it up. Just give me 1 second. I was ready to jump into the next one.
Sorry, I apologize. It's
no,
figure
that's okay.
1 on page 2 of this report.
There is a little piece of land. Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, just
So
to confirm.
that piece, yeah, so that's belonging to a larger parcel, I guess, that this one has been broken out of at some previous point in time. I can bring up the parcel fabric if it's
But to be clear,
it's
the
of
parcel in
interest.
question is not immediately adjacent to the parcel that's indicated as number 122
yeah,
on the map?
that's right.
And
You're right. Yeah.
So then again, the residents of the public that spoke in the open meeting, there's also a section in between their property and 114 and 122 as well, right?
That's what I would understand. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.1.3, zoning bylaw amendment application in regards to DOT, file number Z-05-2026, preliminary report. Again, what we have seen in the report from the public meeting. Be it resolved that the Planning Department report file number Z-05-2026, dated August 20th, 2026, regarding zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 33 Smith Street and legally described as Plan 35, Lot 6 in the Township of Champlain with the tax roll number 0209-010-001-06400 be received, and be it further resolved that a final report and bylaw be brought forward at the next regular council meeting. Proposeur, appuyeur, mover and seconder. Monsieur Duval, appuyé de Madame Bigelow. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.1.4, a zoning bylaw amendment application in regards to 6518331 Canada Inc., also known as file Z-02-2026. This will be our final report. Mrs. Jariwala, you're on the podium again.
Okay. So this is Z0. We're at Z02 now, right?
Z02, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is the final recommendation report. So I'll be going over some of the highlights, but a lot of the same content was already shared at the last council meeting. So for reference, I will bring up a map just so everyone is aware of where the property is. So the property in question is 1288 County Road 17. So that's what you're seeing here in the blue. This property is close to Vaco Rolling Mills, which is here just to the north. And it's along County Road 17. So I'll just leave that up as I'm speaking to this project. So the purpose of this zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the subject property from the industrial restricted, which is the ML zone, to industrial restricted special exception to permit a recycling depot outdoor. More specifically, this proposed use is for the shredding, sorting, and storage of asphalt shingles, and there are no buildings that are proposed for this use. Because there are no buildings proposed, site plan control is not being triggered for this project at this time. From the So getting into the planning analysis, first is the provincial planning statement. So just a key policy to highlight is that it states that planning authorities shall promote economic development and competitiveness by providing for an appropriate mix and range of employment, institutional, and broader mixed use uses to meet long-term needs. So this proposed zoning bylaw amendment supports the development of existing lands zoned for industrial use, and it will maximize the existing infrastructure, promote increased economic development opportunities, and encourage the sustainable management of waste. Therefore, the application is consistent with the PPS. Next, for planning analysis, I have the official plan for the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. Within this official plan, the property is designated as Trade and Industry Policy Area. This designation shall be the focus of employment growth and development in the counties and shall accommodate a range of uses. I will note that the property, as I mentioned, the property is within the 300-meter influence area of Ivaco Rolling Mills. There are a number of sensitive uses that are prohibited within this influence area, but the list of uses that are provided in the UCPR official plan also confirm that this proposed use can be permitted and ultimately is compatible with being close to Ivaco Rolling Mills. The rezoning application, as I mentioned, this application is seeking permission for an outdoor recycling depot, which is for asphalt shingles. We've been informed that the asphalt shingles are to be transported to a separate facility for processing into reusable materials. So the actual intensity of the use at the property, our understanding is that it will be minimal, since they're doing sorting, shredding, storage, as opposed to actual processing of the material. The property is also located in an area that has access to transportation, and no land use conflicts are being created that we know of, and there may be some opportunities for economic development opportunities to be enhanced. So the application then therefore conforms with the UCPR official plan. Next is the township zoning bylaw. So this property is currently zoned restricted industrial, or ML. A wide variety of industrial uses are already permitted in this zone, including a recycling depot. However, we do have in our bylaw recycling depot outdoor as separately defined and not currently permitted. This is why this application has been made. The subject property meets the area and frontage provisions, and because there are no other buildings being proposed, the property is otherwise compliant with the provisions of the ML zone. So in conclusion, I'm of the opinion that this proposed zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the UCPR official plan, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and therefore can be approved as recommended.
Thank you, Mrs. Yariwala. So I'll read the resolution. Be resolved that the Planning Department report file number Z-02-2026, dated August 20th, 2026, regarding zoning bylaw amendment for the property municipality known as 1288 County Road 17, legally known as Plan M101, Block Part A, Part Lot 1, INCL RP 46R100, Part 3, in the Township of Champlain with a tax roll number 0209-007-002-00100 be received, and be it further resolved that planning bylaw number 2026-49 be brought forward for adoption. On need a mover and a seconder. Proposeur appuyeur. Madame Bigelow, appuyé de Monsieur Burrows. Questions? Mr. Burrows.
I just want to clarify once again, there won't be any buildings you're saying that are being proposed. But if there is a change of bylaw, can there be a building that can be erected there to have a smelter there or transformation of the shingles? If there is a change of bylaw there.
Ultimately, buildings can be proposed in industrial zones. This particular project is not seeking to build any buildings at this time, so we have to take the application sort of at face value. That being said, if any buildings are proposed down the line for this use or any other use that is permitted within the this zone, the industrial restricted zone, then site plan control will come into effect. So through site plan control, through that process, we can ask for plans and studies if there's concerns with compatibility, if there's concerns with the amount of water being used for any of the proposed industrial uses. So it gives us an opportunity to alleviate any concerns that would be raised. Site plan control also enables the municipality to collect securities, and then the applicant also has to enter into a site plan agreement. And then once that site plan agreement is sort of registered to the property, they are in a sense committed to that use and those buildings. So then once the site plan agreement is in place, any further development of the property then requires them to come back for another site plan amendment, which then again allows us an opportunity to ask for other plans and studies if there's concerns. So while I can't like I can only say what they're currently proposing doesn't have buildings. There are a lot of uses that are permitted in this zone. We are adding a use and not restricting them only to the use that they're proposing. But there are other sort of breakpoints in this process that should something about their proposal change or something else be proposed, that we'd have an opportunity to look at it again.
Thank you, Mr. Burrows. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. Item number 8.1.5, zoning bylaw amendment application, Mini Entrepôt, Champlain Inc., in regards to file Z-03-2026, final report. Again, Ms. Yariwala.
Thank you. So the property in question for this project, Z03-2026, the property is, oh, sorry. Yeah, the property is located along County Road 17, and the project is to rezone this property from the highway commercial zone to the industrial restricted zone, and this is to permit a mini storage use. So I will just share the site plan, and I'll have that up for reference. So getting into the planning analysis. So first is the provincial planning statement. Again, I will just highlight some key policies. So the first being that it states that planning authorities should support a diversified rural economy by protecting agricultural and other resource-related uses and directing the non-related development to areas where it will minimize constraints on these areas. It also then states that planning authorities shall promote economic development and competitiveness by providing for an appropriate mix and range of employment, institutional, and broader mixed uses to meet long-term needs. So this rezoning application to permit this mini storage use is leveraging the existing amenities and service levels of the rural area. The application demonstrates the use to be complementary of a complete community, including diversity of employment in the industrial area. So the application is consistent with the PPS. Next is the official plan of the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. This property is designated in the trade and industry policy area. This policy area is the focus or shall be the focus of employment growth and development in the counties and shall accommodate for a range of uses. I will flag that this property does have a water course that comes onto the property, and the southern edge of the property is also identified as significant wildlife habitat. So no studies were required for the zoning application. However, this project is subject to the site plan control process, and an environmental impact study will be required with that application at that stage. Any results that come from the study can then be, like any mitigation measures that are found as a result of that study, can then be incorporated through the site plan process. So the zoning, so this rezoning application to permit this use is located within an area. So this policy area does permit the mini storage as a permitted use. The application, this property has accessible transportation access. It's in an area that's compatible with commercial and industrial development, and there are no known conflicts with any neighboring uses. As such, the application conforms with the UCPR official plan. Next, we have the township zoning bylaw. So this property is currently split zoned. It is split zoned with highway commercial, with the mineral aggregate overlay, as well as industrial restricted, or ML, with the mineral aggregate overlay. So the highway commercial zone does permit a variety of different service-oriented and employment uses, but this mini storage use is not permitted. The mini storage use is permitted as of right in the ML zone. However, the part of the property that's ML currently is not large enough to accommodate this use and has no road frontage. So it's not able to accommodate the development. This is why the application is seeking to rezone the entire property to ML. The application is proposing to comply with all of the ML zone provisions as it relates to setbacks, lot coverage, height, drive aisles, parking, and ultimately this rezoning will allow them to use the entirety of the property for the mini storage use in a practical way. So to conclude, I am of the opinion that the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the UCPROP, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and therefore it is recommended for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Yariwala. Therefore, recommendation resolution be it resolved that the Planning Department report, file number Z-03-2026, dated on August 20th, 2026, regarding a zoning bylaw amendment for the property legally described as Concession 1, Part Lot 3, in the Township of Champlain, with the tax roll number 0209-006 001 07001 be received, and be it further resolved that planning bylaw number 2026-50 be brought forward for adoption. Mover, seconder, Mr. Minor, seconded by Mr. Lalonde. Any questions? Comments? All those in favor? Those against? Carried. Prochain item, 8.1.6. Application for removal of park lot control in regards to 120 and 122 Mill Street, Latham Investments Limited, under the file PLC-2026-01. Again, Mrs. Yariwala, you're at the podium again.
Thanks. So I'll share my screen. It's nice to have this in the same meeting, as this is where some of our public meeting applications are sort of heading. So the property in question is actually right here, and was, I guess, previously known, or is known, as 126 Mill Street. So this property was, oh, there we go. So this property has come before council before. It was the subject of severance B065 2025. Through that severance, 2 lots were created from this 1 lot. A condition of that severance was a minor variance. However, it was determined, through discussion with the applicant, that a zoning bylaw amendment would be more appropriate to capture some of the compliance issues as well as the use that was being requested. So through zoning bylaw amendment file Z07 2025, these two the properties were both rezoned. So the I guess you could say the retained lands were rezoned to R1-8, and then the vacant lands were rezoned to R2-15. So the special exceptions on both sides of these properties were intended to capture a number of non-compliance issues that took place as a result of the severance. So for R1-8, it was acknowledging some of the setbacks. There was a change in, because it's a corner lot, there was a change in which side is considered front. And then for R2-15, it was addressing, specifically, it was addressing a reduction to the rear yard setback from 7.5 meters to 7 meters. And there was also the change from R1 to R2 to be able to permit a semi. So do I have one more? Yeah. So here's the drawing associated to the part lot control application. So here you can see the entirety of the property and then how the semi has been placed. So ultimately, the Planning Act gives us the ability to lift part lot control, which enables the applicant to then be able to create 2 smaller lots. So this process is essentially a process that allows further division of a lot that was within a plan of subdivision. I guess in conclusion, the lot frontage for both, the area and frontage are sufficient and adequate to accommodate the proposed semi-detached dwelling. I will also flag that if this application is approved, then the appropriate documents will be registered on title. And lastly, that the United Counties of Prescott and Russell are the final approval authority. So should this application be supported by Township Council today, we will be forwarding the counties a certified copy of the bylaw for them to make the final decision. So in conclusion, in my opinion, this proposed lifting of part lot control is consistent with the requirement of the Planning Act, meets with all of the policy documents, so the PPS, the UCPROP, and the township's local official plan, and the proposed development also meets with the zoning bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Recommendation, resolution, be it resolved that Planning Department Report PLC-2026-01 regarding the application for lifting of part lot control for part of Lot 9, east side of Union Street, of a registered plan number 35 requested by Lithium Investments Limited be received, and that bylaw number 2026-55 be brought forward for adoption. Proposeur, appuyeur, mover, Mr. Duval, seconded by Mr. Barton. Question, comments? All in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.1.7, land severance application B-035-2026 in regards to Wilson. Again, Mrs. Jariwala.
Thanks. I'll start again by sharing my screen for context. So I guess interestingly, now that I have it up on the screen, the property that I was asked about in relation to the public meeting is actually located right here. And this severance that we are doing is in relation to the larger property that sort of surrounds that 122 Mill Street. In any case, so the large property here is 56 Pendleton Street. And essentially the parcel that is to be severed. So here's another drawing actually. This will provide some context as well. So the large here where you can see lot B is 56 Pendleton Street. What I've circled here in red is the part to be severed. So that severed parcel currently has an existing single detached dwelling as well as a second dwelling unit. The retained parcel, which is the large piece, 56 Pendleton, has a lot area of approximately 59 hectares. It's currently being used for agricultural purposes and is proposed to remain as such. So I will note that this property has had several consent applications in the past. The most recent ones being in 2012, 2020, two in 2020 and one in 2023. All of these consents were to create residential lots, and all of these consents were approved. I note that because the United Counties of Prescott and Russell official plan states that consents shall not permit the creation of more than a total of 4 lots from any original lot as it existed as of May 22nd, 1996 in the Township of Champlain. So we did get confirmation from the United Counties that this proposed land division may proceed through a consent process because it is within the limits of an urban policy area, which in this case is Van Cleek Hill. And the counties are also satisfied that a plan of subdivision is not warranted for the application. So because of that, we're able to make an exception to the policy to be able to consider this consent. So again, into the planning analysis, starting with the provincial planning statement or the PPS. This property is within the urban settlement area of Van Cleek Hill, where intensification of residential uses are directed, encouraged, and focused. The proposed severance is supported by being within an area of municipal services, and the road, like essentially the frontage is remaining unchanged. Therefore, the application is consistent with the PPS. Next is the official plan for the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. This property is designated as urban policy area. The proposed severed lot has frontage on a year-round publicly maintained road on full municipal services. It's compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, which is also primarily single detached dwellings. There are also, of course, in Van Cleek Hill, some institutional uses, commercial core uses, and development lands as well. There are no compatibility issues that have been noted. There are no issues also anticipated with capacity for municipal services, and this is because the property already has an existing dwelling plus a second dwelling unit. So therefore, the application conforms to the county official plan. Next is the official plan for the urban areas of the Township of Champlain. So within the local official plan, the severed lot is designated as low density residential. Within this designation, low rise residential uses are permitted, and so the existing residential use is conforming. Lastly, I have the township zoning bylaw. So the property is zoned R1 as well as development. The essentially this proposed severance will result in a compliant lot area and frontage for both the severed and retained parcels, so both lot A and lot B. And there are also no compliance issues that have been identified in relation to lot A. I can also show this drawing, which shows a close-up of lot A where the house and the second dwelling are already existing. So in conclusion, it is my professional opinion that the proposed consent is consistent with the PPS, conforms to the UCPR official plan, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. As such, we recommend that this application be approved with the conditions as presented. And that condition is just the payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes. Thanks.
Thank you again. Recommendation, be it resolved that the consent application B-035-2026 be received, and be it further resolved that the application be granted with the following conditions. 1, payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest, shall be paid to the Township of Champlain. Proposeur appuyeur, mover and seconder. Mr. Barton, seconded by Mr. Duval. Questions? All those in favor? Those against? Carried. Eight point 1.8 land severance application, file number B-053-2026, Perutka. Mrs. Yariwala, I believe it's going to be your last one for tonight.
Thank you. Okay, so again, for context, I will bring up some imagery. Okay, so the property in question for this application B-053-2026, this property is located west of 594 Patty Road. The applicant is proposing to sever approximately 0.8 hectares from the property that's highlighted here in blue. The severed parcel, which you can see here in pink, this will be added to the property at 594, so that's the residential home right here. And then the retained, so essentially, sorry, that property at 594 Patty Road will be enlarged by 0.8 hectares approximately. The retained parcel lot B, which you can see here, this remaining lot area is approximately 33.7 hectares, and this retained lot is vacant with agricultural uses and forested areas, as is shown. So I'll also show this one just for ease. This was the county's notice drawing. So as you can see, 594 located here, and pretty typical sized residential lot. The part being severed off, part A, is going to be attached here. This one, lot B, will remain vacant. And I have one more sketch as well. So this sketch is just demonstrating the existing structures at lot B. Do note that this property is actually quite a bit larger, so these structures are not actually that close to this. I guess just for ease, they shortened the size of the lot. So getting into, I'll leave this one up. Getting into the planning analysis, so first comes the provincial planning statement. Essentially, it says that on rural lands, the permitted uses include residential development, including lot creation where the site conditions are suitable for the provision of appropriate sewage and water services. So the proposed severance is on rural lands and is essentially for a lot enlargement. So no new lot is being created as a result of this application. This application is not intending to impact any existing operations, seeing as those lands are significantly treed at this time. Next is the official plan for the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. This property is designated rural policy area. Essentially, the official plan states that the predominant uses here will be agricultural, aggregate extraction, recreation, and forestry. Outside of settlement areas, the rural policy area is where the official plan provides some flexibility for certain uses, including lot creation and residential development, which is what this application is. both the retained lot as well as the lot to be enlarged, so that's the totality of 594 Patty. Both of those are greater than 0.8 hectares, which is what is recommended for minimum lot size. There's no new development being proposed as a result of this application, whether that's residential or agricultural. And finally, the official plan gives us the ability to consider lot enlargement, seeing as no lot is being provided. So based on these policies, the proposed severance for a lot addition in the rural policy area is permitted. So next is the township zoning bylaw. So this property is zoned rural with a mineral aggregate overlay. So I guess parts of the property have the rural zone, parts of it have the rural plus the aggregate overlay. The lot at 594 Patty that is going to be enlarged is currently zoned residential rural. All of these zones collectively, both the rural and residential rural zones, permit residential uses. Ultimately, the resulting lot for 594 Patty, sorry, both the enlarged lot and the retained lot will both be compliant to the zoning provisions. And so there's no zoning bylaw amendment that's being considered as a condition for this particular project. We did consider whether a condition was needed to rezone sort of like what's indicated here as Lot A, and whether that needed to be rezoned from rural to residential rural to avoid this joint property being split zoned. However, there's already a house on the property here, no further developments being proposed. So it just doesn't seem necessary to require that at this time. Should there be some other development proposed in the future for this property that requires a zoning amendment, we can consider it at that time. There's no there's no anticipated negative consequences as a result of leaving this property split zoned. So in conclusion, it is my professional opinion that the proposed consent is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the UCPR official plan, and meets with the intent of the zoning bylaw. So as such, we recommend that this application be approved with the conditions as presented. And the only condition at this time is the payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes. Thank you.
Thank you again. Recommended resolution, be it resolved that the consent application B053-2026 be received, and be it further resolved that the application be granted with the following conditions, which are: 1, payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest, shall be paid to the Township of Champlain. Mover and seconder, proposal appuyé, Mme Bigelow, seconded by M. Minor. Questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. I believe your time with us is over. Thank you so much for the input, all the literature and the information. Greatly appreciated. Wish you a good evening, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. 8.2, adoption of planning bylaws. 8.2.1, bylaw number 2026-49 to amend the zoning bylaw 2000-75 in regards to 6518331 Canada Inc., also known as file Z-02-2026. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-49, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2000-75 for 6518331 Canada Inc., also known as file Z-02-2026, be passed. Proposal appuyé, mover seconder, Mr. Burrows, appuyé de Mr. Barton. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. 8.2.2, bylaw number 2026-50, to amend zoning bylaw 2000-75, mini entrepôt Champlain Inc., also known as filed Z-03-2026. Therefore, be it resolved that the bylaw 2026-50, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2000-75 for mini entrepôt Champlain Inc., also known as file Z-03-2026, be passed. Proposeur, appuyeur, mover and seconder, Mr. Minor, appuyé de Madame Bigelow. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. Next one, 8.2.3, bylaw number 2026-55, removal of park lot control, also known at 120-1 and 122 Mill Street. File number PLC-2026-01. Again, the resolution reads, be it resolved that the bylaw number 2026-55, being a bylaw to provide that subsection 5 of Section 50 of the Planning Act, also known as RSO 1990, Chapter P13, as amended, does not apply to part of Lot 9, east side of Union Street, registered plan number 35, formerly in the Township of Vankleek-Hill, now in the Township of Champlain, in the County of Prescott and Russell, designated as Parts 1 and 2 on Reference Plan 46R8411, and municipality known as 120 and 122 Mill Street, and that the clerk be assigned to submit the bylaw of the United Counties of Prescott and Russell be passed. Proposeur appuyeur, Mr. Duval, seconded by Mr. Barton. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. 8.3. Recommendation reports. 8.3.1. Report FIN-2026-07, a request for cancellation, reductions, or refund of taxes. There was an attachment. Madame Tovette, si vous voulez un peu expliquer un peu le scénario, on voit ça tous les ans, donc c'est répétitif, mais on va vous demander un peu le scénario.
Oui, exactement. Comme vous l'avez noté, on présente à peu près une fois par année là, des ajustements de taxes. Cette année, c'est la deuxième fois, par contre. On avait des ajustements, il fallait retourner à 2025 là, parce qu'il y avait eu un délai pour recevoir des informations de MPAC. Donc, et comme il est prescrit par la loi, on a jusqu'au 30 septembre de l'année suivante pour emmener ces ajustements-là au Conseil. Donc, c'est pour ça que je présente ce rapport-là aujourd'hui. Donc, comme c'est d'usage, selon la section 357 de la loi de 2001 sur les municipalités, les gens peuvent demander une réduction de taxes lorsqu'il y a eu un changement d'utilisation de la propriété. Dans le rapport d'aujourd'hui, là, pour la plupart, il s'agit des démolitions de propriétés, là, soit suite à un incendie ou juste des démolitions. Donc, c'est juste pour avoir votre approbation pour donner ces réductions d'impôts-là selon la section 357. Et exceptionnellement, pour la première fois, on a des réductions de taxes selon la section 358, qui est juste une section différente de la loi là, qui dit que s'il y a eu une erreur dans l'évaluation foncière, mais pas un évaluateur, pas une erreur point de vue de jugement, mais plus une erreur, comme dans ces cas-ci, c'était des omissions. Là, ils ont évalué des bâtiments qui sont plus les propriétés aujourd'hui. Fait qu'à un moment donné, les bâtiments ils ont été enlevés, puis ça a comme... Il n'y a pas eu d'action, fait qu'il n'y a pas eu de réévaluation. Fait que c'est pour ajuster ces choses-là. C'est une section différente de la loi, mais c'est dans le même principe. Donc, c'est simplement pour vous faire approuver les ajustements.
Excellent, merci beaucoup. Qu'il soit résolu que le rapport FIN-2026-07, daté du 20 août 2026, concernant les demandes d'annulation diminution et de remboursement d'impôts fonciers soit reçu et que le Conseil approuve le rapport conformément à la section 357 de la loi de 2001 sur les municipalités et qu'il soit également résolu que le résumé des décisions de la Société d'évaluation foncière des municipalités, aussi connue sur Impact, concernant les demandes faites en vertu de l'article 357 et ou 358 de la loi de 2001 sur les municipalités soient adoptées et que les annulations, diminutions et ou remboursements d'impôts soient accordés. Donc, on a une liste au bout de notre fameux rapport. Ça va me prendre un proposeur et un appuyeur. M. Miner, appuyé de M. Roy. Questions? Questions? Ceux en faveur? Ceux qui sont contre? Adopté. Pas souvent, je les lis en français, les résolutions. Hein? 8.3.2, Report FIN-2026-08, Planning Service Budget Amendment. Again, there's a report addressing the finance report in planning services. So these are revised budget numbers. Be it resolved that Finance Report FIN-2026-08 regarding the 2026 Planning Services Budget Amendment following the recruitment of a planning advisor be received, and be it further resolved that Council rescind the budget amendments approved through Resolution 2026-213, and that the budget be amended as follows. You have the numbers there. Do I need to read all the numbers? C'est le budget 2026 avec différents acomptes. And be it further resolved that Council approves a recommendation to finance the shortfall of $58,685 in the planning services budget with the accumulated surplus. M. Roy, proposeur, seconded by, appuyé de M. Lalonde. Questions, questions? All those in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.3.3, Report PWD-2026-08, revision of the engineering report in regards to the Gautier Municipal Drain. You have two reports. Monsieur Leroux et Tite, si vous avez des questions. I'll read the resolution and then we'll pass to the questions. Recommendation resolution. Be it resolved that Public Works Report number RPT PWD 2026-08, dated August 20th, 2026, regarding the revision of the engineering report for the Gautier Municipal Drain be received and filed. Be it further resolved that Council accepts the drainage petition by the Road Authority and approves proceeding with the revision of the engineering report for the Gautier Municipal Drain under Section 78 of the Drainage Act. Be it further resolved that Council approves the proceedings with the preparation of the engineering report that will offer sufficient outlet for Heritage Court and de la Seigneurie Streets under Section 4, Paragraph 1 of the Drainage Act. Be it further resolved that Council approves the selection of Robinson Consultant, Inc. to revise the engineer report at an estimated cost of $57,675 through a single source purchasing process for the reason highlighted in this report. Be it further resolved that bylaw number 2026-51 be brought forward for adoption. Proposeur appuyeur, Mr. Miner, seconded by Mme Bigelow. Questions, questions? Monsieur Roy.
Monsieur Leroux, au moment où les permis ont été approuvés à Heritage Court puis la Seigneurie, il n'y a pas des ingénieurs qui ont déjà prévu tout ça, parce qu'il me semble qu'on a accordé des permis, puis là, X nombre d'années plus tard, on se ramasse avec un problème de drainage.
Monsieur Leroux, vous laissez répondre, c'est vous l'expert.
Dans ce cas-là, je pense que souvent, ce qui arrivait, c'est que le département de planification puis le surintendant de drainage, parce que ça doit faire un bout à Heritage Court qui a été accepté. S'il n'y a pas eu de conditions d'entente de faire une mise à jour du bassin versant du drain Gautier, parce que Heritage Court coule vers le drain Gautier, mais comme c'est là, il ne ferait pas partie du bassin versant. Il y aurait juste une petite partie qui était dans la seigneurie. Fait qu'il y a un ajustement qui doit être fait. Mais quand ce développement-là a été fait, je pense à même le développement, ils ont trouvé le cours d'eau naturel pour envoyer l'eau, mais tu ne peux pas juste envoyer l'eau chez les voisins dans un terrain privé sans avoir... Si c'est un drain municipal, c'est correct, mais je pense que de juste envoyer notre eau collectée directement sur un voisin, puis là, on a des plaintes qu'on inonde le voisin. Il y a une emprise de fossé qui longe les terrains qui sont juste à l'est du projet. Mais dans ce temps-là, je ne peux pas dire, je ne t'apprends pas, ça fait longtemps quand même que l'héritage a été fait. J'ai l'impression qu'il n'y a pas eu de conditions pour faire de mise à jour dans ce temps-là, puis même de trouver une sortie propice, malheureusement.
Actuellement, il me semble qu'on était présents les deux quand il y a eu des plaintes à ce niveau-là il y a plusieurs années et que ça avait été solutionné ou qu'il avait trouvé des solutions, en tout cas, pour répondre aux problèmes. Je ne comprends pas qu'on doit payer encore des frais d'ingénieur aujourd'hui.
On n'a pas des coûts d'eau normaux. Peut-être que M. Leroux pourrait peut-être élaborer sur le fait du pourquoi qu'on a besoin d'un ingénieur. Est-ce que les gens qui vont contribuer ont été avertis selon... Parce que M. Roy a peut-être un bon point concernant que ces évaluations-là avaient déjà été faites dans le passé.
Pour l'évaluation de ces terrains-là, c'est tout un cours d'eau naturel. Les autres, ils payent pour sortie d'eau vers le drain Gautier. Mais le drain Gautier commence légalement au chemin de comté 24 jusqu'à la rivière Ottawa. On a déjà des problèmes, pour ça qu'on parle de section 78 pour le drain Gautier, parce qu'il n'y a pas une sortie suffisante selon ce qu'on a de capacité d'eau à passer. Il y a plusieurs terrains qui inondent. Le chemin du Bercail, je pense dans le rapport, vous avez vu des photos là. Je pense que le développement, le chemin devrait être surélevé pour avoir une meilleure sortie. J'ai des plaintes des deux côtés du chemin du Bercail en même temps. On regarde aussi une terre qui était boisée, qui est rendue agricole à pleine grandeur, qui, certains lots accumulent, passent plus vite un peu. On a de la sédimentation qui s'accumule plus vite en bas. Puis la partie du haut vers ce projet-là, la seule façon, j'ai eu des contacts, ça fait plusieurs années, comme vous dites, je pense qu'on a des plaintes vers les propriétaires entre le développement de la seigneurie Heritage Court puis le chemin de comté 24. Il y a quelques propriétés. On a eu des discussions, essayer de trouver un moyen d'entente, mais je pense qu'il y en a qui, au lieu de se dire on va tout donner la main pour le faire le mieux possible, le plus facilement possible, je pense qu'on va rencontrer des encombres. Il y en a qui veulent aider, il y en a qui disent oui, puis d'autres veulent peut-être en prendre avantage. La seule façon légale que la municipalité peut se protéger, c'est de pétitionner pour un drain municipal. Tout le monde va rentrer, mais la municipalité a-t-elle la responsabilité d'avoir accepté un projet sans avoir une sortie suffisante dans ce temps-là? Ça, c'est la question à se poser, parce que les autres pourraient, les premiers propriétaires où ce que l'eau arrive puis qui inondent le terrain pourraient dire, bien, légalement, vous inondez mon terrain sans permission. Eux autres pourraient juste faire un mur puis bloquer l'eau aussi. Fait que c'est les deux côtés de la médaille qui m'apportaient à discuter avec les travaux publics puis le directeur dans ce temps-là, de dire la meilleure façon, une entente mutuelle. Si ça ne fonctionne pas, ça s'en va vers les cours civils quand même. C'est de l'argent qui peut être dépensé, tandis que là, c'est de l'argent efficace qui pourrait être apporté pour faire sûr qu'il y a une sortie suffisante une fois pour toutes, régler les problèmes pour le projet. Ces propriétaires-là en même temps. C'est l'ingénieur qui est appointé qui va donner les coûts où est-ce que ça va aller. Quand il y a une pétition de signer, il y a des chances qu'il y en ait qui retournent vers les pétitionneurs. Si le processus arrête en chemin, le pétitionnaire habituellement paye les coûts. Si ça se rend jusqu'au bout, l'ingénieur va désigner un montant pour chaque propriété qui utilise ce cours d'eau-là, où est-ce qu'il va passer à le même processus que quand on fait une révision sur un cours d'eau déjà existant. Légalement, la municipalité peut pousser un cours d'eau vers le bas. On a vu l'exemple du Mill Creek quand il y a eu des problèmes, mais elle ne peut pas pousser le cours d'eau vers le haut. Ça prend une pétition soit par propriétaire, majorité de propriété, grandeur de terrain ou l'autorité des chemins. La seule façon, je pense, c'est l'autorité des chemins de prendre responsabilité du projet qui a été faite sans vraiment avoir la permission de passer l'eau vers les terrains voisins. Je pense que ça répond assez bien pour
Des projets de subdivision, c'est ça que ça l'amène. Aucun ingénieur responsable du passé qui pourrait être responsable de ce taux surplus-là ou de ce problème de drainage. Je me souviens, on parle des années 95, 98. J'étais à Longueuil dans le temps, puis il y avait eu une pétition concernant le outlet qui s'en allait être fait à l'autre bout du chemin Bercail, je pense. Il y avait une discussion entre le voisin, M. Cusson, puis M. Gauthier. Ça, c'est un autre problème. Je le vois, je le comprends. Il n'y a pas personne qui devient responsable un coup que les travaux ne sont pas vraiment adéquats pour le service.
Je pense que dans ce temps-là, le projet a été accepté tel quel. Ça fait que je me demande si c'est la municipalité a une partie de responsabilité. L'ingénieur ou le développeur qui a présenté le projet, il venait à bout de faire passer quelque chose. Sous toute bonne... j'ai rencontré quand même développeurs en chemin, puis j'ai dit, on ne peut pas collecter l'eau et la domper juste dans un cours d'eau naturel. Non, c'est une branche du cours d'eau municipal. C'est pas une branche légale du cours d'eau municipal. Ça fait que je pense qu'il doit y avoir une limitation légale pour avoir des recours envers un développeur. Ça fait si longtemps que ça. Je pense qu'on regarde encore à la responsabilité de continuer à envoyer de l'eau sur un terrain privé. Si le propriétaire déciderait peut-être, si ça fait plus que 20 ans, peut-être qu'il pourrait avoir un jugement pour un droit prescriptif, mais encore, c'est de l'eau qui a été collectée sans sortie suffisante à l'autre bout.
Merci. Monsieur Burroughs.
Si je peux juste ajouter comme commentaire, le domaine Riviera, c'est un endroit où il y a excessivement d'eau. La majorité des maisons qui sont là, ils ont 2 sump pumps. Ça fait que j'imagine qu'il faut regarder à régler le problème parce que l'eau s'en ira pas, là. Ça fait qu'il y en a dans la terre.
Bien d'accord. Merci, M. Burroughs, pour le commentaire. Résolution, je l'ai lu. J'ai un proposeur, j'imagine. Oui, j'ai tout ça. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.3.4, report CLK-2026-07, municipal election 2026 to 2030, joint compliance audit committee member appointments. You have the reports. We have 5 or 6 names. Resolution, be it resolved that the clerk report CLK-2026-07 dated August 20th, 2026 regarding the appointment of members of the 2026-2030 Joint Compliance Audit Committee for municipal elections be received and be further resolved that bylaw number 2026-53 being a bylaw to appointment members of the 2026 to 2030 Joint Compliance Audit Committee be brought forward for adoption. Proposeur appuyeur, mover, seconder, Mme Bigelow, seconded by M. Minor. Question? M. Minor?
Je crois qu'il y a 6 membres, si j'ai bien lu. Puis il y a 8 municipalités. Alors, je me demande juste s'il y a des critères à savoir qui n'a pas de représentant ou ainsi de suite.
Madame Collard, your department. Microphone, please.
Excuse-moi. Je ne sais pas si j'ai bien entendu. La question était...
Why is there 6 members and we have 8 municipalities in Prescott Russell?
Parce que c'est un genre de roster, donc c'est une liste de membres qu'on peut tous demander de l'utiliser. So it's the same procedure that we did in the last few elections. We have a joint committee. We have the council passed a bylaw earlier this year approving the terms of reference for the joint committee. It's very hard to recruit people to do this. They need to be qualified in accounting and policy review. And because each municipality had such a hard time finding volunteers to do, well, volunteers, they do get a stipend, but we agreed that we would collectively find 6 people to be appointed. Then if any of the municipalities needed to conduct an audit, then we would select 3 from those people on the roster to sit as our committee and review the financial statements. I don't know if that answers your question.
Mr. Minor? Mr. Barton?
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor, I believe it's only 5 on that committee, not 6, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. All questions? All in favor? Those against? Carried. 8.3.5, report CLK-2026-08, municipal elections, restricted acts, and delegated authority provision. Un tas de rapports, donc 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rapports. La résolution est assez longue, donc let's start. Madame Collard, you were going to say something? Okay. Be it resolved that the clerk report CLK-2026-08 dated August 20, 2026, regarding the restricted acts period, also known as lame duck, and delegations of authority provisions, be received, and be it further resolved that council delegate to the chief administrative officer the authority to take such actions on behalf of the corporation of the Township of Champlain as may otherwise be restricted under subsection 275, paragraph 3 of the Municipal Act 2001, subject to the restrictions under the section 23.1 and 23.3 of the Municipal Act of 2001 as set out in the bylaw number 2026-54, and be it further resolved that this delegation shall only apply in the event that the municipality is subject to the restricted acts provisions under section 275 of the Municipal Act 2001, and only for such time as the said provisions apply. And be it further resolved that any use of delegated authority under the bylaw be reported to council within the first 3 months of the new council term, outlining any actions taken under such delegated authority and the reasons for exercising that authority. Be it further resolved that bylaw number 2026-54, being a bylaw to authorize the delegations of authority for certain acts after nomination day for the 2026 municipal elections, be brought forward for adoption. Proposeur, M. Roy, seconded by, appuyé de Mme Bigelow. Question? Questions? All those in favor? Those against? Carried. 5 minutes break. Very good. On s'en va en break pour 5 minutes. On va vous revenir. Thank you so much. Carla. De retour, we are back. Let's go to item number 8.4, monthly reports. These items will be consented, so I'll read the resolution. Be it resolved that the following staff report be received and filed under the consent resolution for agenda items 8.4.1 through 8.4.9. This regards a financial statement for June 30th, 2026, accounts for the June and July 2026, the monthly reports for June and July 2026, also for the fire, parks, and recreation, public works, bylaw, and communication and community development, and also the Aqua quarterly report, the card for the quarter 2 of 2026. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Proposeur appuyeur. Monsieur Roy, appuyé de Madame Bigelow. Question, Monsieur Minor, Public Works.
Vous avez quasiment posé ma question avant que je la pose, Monsieur le maire, c'est bien. C'est surtout juste un genre de petit rapport que je fais parce que j'ai eu un contact d'un père de taxe. Je vais continuer en anglais parce que s'il regarde le YouTube, le monsieur est anglophone. So on Sandy Hill Road, close to Charbonneau Road, speeding situation, which we get a lot of. I visited the taxpayer and very nice conversation. I didn't promise him anything, especially at this time of the year in an election year. But I was just wondering, I know we have a portable speed screen. I don't know where it is right now. I know was in the Lornell area for a while. I'm just wondering if it would be possible this time towards the fall to set it up there. And I know that it is possible to obtain through a computer the readouts of what it, so that we could at least identify if it is as bad as I'm told. I can give you the exact address if necessary.
Merci, Monsieur Minor. Monsieur Burroughs. J'avais Bigelow dans la tête. Mr. Burroughs.
I think we haven't known one another for a very long period of time. My point, just to add to Mr. Minor, we do have radar warning, the speed warning devices that are set up at like in my ward, when you come in, going east. And there is also one that is set up going west, right around before Bedard Street. So we have traffic warning devices installed. I wonder, Mr. Mayor, this has been an ongoing subject, and maybe you and I, Mr. Minor, we should write a letter to the detachment commander requesting that I have invited her from the OPP to come here and do her presentation as to what her plans are in regards to issues, traffic issues, as well as criminal activity in our township. We're still waiting for a response unless Mr. Mayor has received any information. I find that she has a certain duty to come before us with the amount of money that we're paying the OPP, that she could come and inform us as to what her plan would be to deal with situations that you've described.
Mr. Burroughs, you're asking the same question every month, and I'll give you the same answer. They have so many OPP officers around. They do check. I've seen them on different roads. The report is there's no speeders. Of course, when you see a cop, you have been a cop for 30-some years. Every time people would see you, they'd slow down because they saw you in the area or people with flashlights. So to come to the regards of speeding, every 3 months with the OPP board, we discuss these issues. And I'll tell you the same story again. They are aware. They do their best. I can defend her as much as I can, but I also have no control on how they patrol, as you should know.
Thank you. There is a way. I will probably open your, I'm not the one sitting at the police commission, but there is a way, and it's creating a traffic enforcement unit. And when you're sitting there, they have a lot of officers that are assigned to other type of jobs that is basically duplicating what the Attorney General does, i.e. Domestic abuse, when we have VWAP that is supposed to take care of that. These officers should be the ones going back on the road and doing traffic enforcement. She could create a detachment traffic unit with 1 or 2 officers, the same way as it existed before. But they have loaded the OPP with top level, more in the administration than where there are actually constables doing the work. So that's my suggestion to you. You're right. I have done that job before for 30 years, and I can tell you that if I was sitting there, Mr. Mayor, that's one thing I would suggest you should address.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Mr. Weiner?
Was not my intention to start this type of an argument. I did not mention the police. I know the situation. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying I put it down. I'm looking at what we can do. So I'm talking about the portable, and then maybe down the road, once we see the results of that, maybe we could put up things like have been put at the entrance of Lornal. I did check, and that area does not receive any farmers with very big equipment because we don't want to go through that again. So basically, I think there are solutions. I'm not saying that the police cannot do something. Right now, I'm just trying to see what we can do. Thank you.
Merci, M. Miner. M. Burroughs, pour vous répondre. Bluntly, if I'm elected next year, you will be on the board guaranteed. I will recommend this to council. Question, Mr. Barton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take the opportunity again to thank the Director of Public Works, the Parks and Rec, who again made us look fantastic at the parade in Van Cleef for the Agricultural Society's fair over the past weekend. Mr. Miner and Mayor Rippel and myself running, trying to keep up was good probably for the 3 of us. But again, thank you to the director and her staff who I understand decorated the float and made us look fantastic. My question, or maybe slightly less than positive comment, is it all looked really good, and it would have looked even better should the hanging baskets that traditionally appeared on the main street in Van Cleef to make it look so beautiful. Obviously, I know that this council understands it is the most beautiful town around, but it would have been even nicer should those hanging baskets have been there. And I encourage the director and the treasurer and the CAO and everyone else to find money in the budget for next year to return that service to the main street of Van Cleef. But thank you. It was fantastic once again.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Any other questions? J'en ai une. Monsieur Legault. Sur notre rapport, on voit que des chemins, Dour, Wall, à Lornial, il y a Aimé, puis il y a Pendleton. Je me promène dans les chemins, je fais beaucoup de curiosité parce que c'est la municipalité qui m'intéresse. Ces chemins ne sont pas pavés encore. Est-ce qu'on a une idée de quand est-ce qu'ils vont être pavés? Yeah, you know that, but the public doesn't. See, I get the phone calls, you don't.
Monsieur le maire, oui. J'ai parlé au contracteur, puis il est supposé de rentrer lundi, que je me suis fait dire. Mais ça, il m'a dit ça la semaine passée, donc s'il perd des journées de pluie, ça peut être mardi ou mercredi. Mais il m'avait dit que la semaine prochaine, il commençait pour nous autres.
Parfait. Good. Good news. So next Monday, on s'attend à ce que Cornwall Gravel starts paving. Monsieur Miner, tu avais une question. T'as-tu levé ta main, toi? Non. Monsieur Miner?
Pourrais-tu demander à M. Legault d'approcher ton micro? Tu parles pas. T'es un colosse, mais tu parles pas fort.
Il t'a pas compris. Fait qu'approche le micro. Tu peux-tu répéter, s'il vous plaît?
Voulez-vous que je répète, M. Miner?
Non, c'est beau. Je venais à bout de capter ce que je voulais, mais c'est plus difficile.
OK.
Sur cette note, M.
Là, j'ai bien
Legault.
compris.
Comment? Là,
Là,
vous avez
j'ai bien
compris. Sur cette note, M. Legault, j'étais pour attendre aux annonces. Donc, bienvenue à l'équipe. Vous êtes nommé directeur pas des travaux publics, mais de l'infrastructure. Donc, bienvenue. 30 ans d'expérience, on a entendu ça tantôt, de la nation. Une perte pour quelqu'un, un gain chez nous. Donc, grandement apprécié. Merci d'être parmi nous. Puis, je sais que votre expérience va faire de notre municipalité la rayonnée la plus belle dans Prescott-Russell. Bienvenue, merci. Sur cette note, donc, ben non, je vais passer avec cet item-là, puis on gardera le grand menu tout pour tantôt. J'ai lu la résolution. So, any other questions in other departments? See none? Qui? Mr. Miner? No. Thank you. So that's it. I have a mover and I have a seconder. All those in favor? Those against? Carried. On s'en va à l'item numéro 12, 12, adoption of minutes. Also, these are also consented. I'll read the resolution in regards to 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, and 12.4. Be it resolved that Council approves the minutes of the following meetings. Public meeting on June 25th, 2026. The regular council meeting of June 25th, also 2026. Special meeting held on July 10th, 2026. And a special meeting on July 30th, 2026, as presented. Mover and seconder, proposeur appuyeur, Mme Bigelow, appuyé de M. Lalonde. Questions, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. Adoption of bylaws, 13.1, bylaw number 2026-51, appointment of engineer for the Gautier Municipal Drain. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-51, being a bylaw to appoint a Robinson Consultants, Inc., to review the Gautier Municipal Drain under Section 4, petition, and Section 78, improvement upon examination and report of engineer of the Drainage Act be passed. Mover and seconder, proposeur appuyeur, Mme Bigelow, appuyé de M. Barton. Read the first time, all those in favor? Read the second time, all those in favor? Read the third time, all those in favor? Carried. 13.2, bylaw number 2026-52, borrowing bylaw, loan renewal for 2 fire trucks. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-52, being a bylaw to authorize the renewal of the loan to finance the purchase of 2 fire trucks, be passed. Mover and seconder, proposeur appuyeur, M. Duval, appuyé de M. Lalonde. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. 13.3, bylaw number 2026-53, to appoint the members of the Joint Compliance Audit Committee. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-53, being a bylaw to appoint the members of the 2026-2030 Joint Compliance Audit Committee for the municipal elections, be passed. Proposeur appuyeur, mover seconder. Mr. Miner, seconded by M. Roy. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. Last one, 13.4, bylaw number 2026-54, delegations of authority during a restricted act, also known as lame duck period. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-54, being a bylaw to delegate certain powers and duties to the Chief Administrative Officer during the restriction period following nomination day, also known as lame duck, pursuant to Section 275 of the Municipal Act 2001, be passed. Proposeur appuyeur, M. Roy, appuyé de M. Barton. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. Correspondence for action, 14.1, in regards to CN, the Rail Safety Week. I think we should support. Whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 21st to 27, 2026. whereas 252 railway crossing and trespassing incidents occurred in Canada in 2025, resulting in 69 avoidable fatalities and 60 avoidable serious injuries, whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railway rights of way are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway, rail grade crossing, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws will result the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesavers is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness, whereas CN and Operations Lifesaver have requested the City Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including our municipalities. It is hereby resolved to support National Rail Safety Week to be held September 21st to the 27th, 2026. Proposeur appuyeur, Mr. Barton, appuyé de Monsieur Burrows. All in favor? Against? Carried. 14.2, Prescott and Russell Development Corporation, a request for support for the continuation of the Prescott and Russell Regional Economic and Tourist Development Initiative. Be it resolved that Council supports the continuation of the regional economy and the Tourist Development Initiative for the Prescott and Russell Development Corporation and directs staff to prepare the proposed letter of support using the template provided with the Township of Champlain's information incorporated therein for signature by the Mayor and subsequent distribution as appropriate. Proposeur, Mr. Duval, appuyé de, seconded by Mr. Minor. All in favor? Those against? Carried. 14.3, Corridor Train Alliance, open letter to the Government of Canada. You have two attachments. We could support or move it along. See, it's, I think it would be good. Mr. Martin?
If I understand the motion, Mr. Mayor, I believe they're suggesting that because the 401 corridor already exists, that they should consider moving the southern route of the Alto train that's not yet been identified to ourselves or anybody else into that corridor. I think that's something we've mentioned here in open meeting previously. But the letter's not clear about our end of the province, unfortunately, but I would suggest that infrastructure is there. The minimization of effect on farmers and landowners in the area would be beneficial, so I would move to support.
Moved by Mr. Barton, appuyé de Monsieur Roy. All in favor? Against? Carried. Right on. On s'en va sur 15, correspondance for support resolutions. 15.1, Town of Caledon, provincial support funding and coordinated plans to combat ticks-borne diseases. Je pense que c'est pas un, I guess so. Proposeur, M. Minor, seconded by M. Burrows. All in favor? Against? Carried. 15.2, Township of Pushlinch, review of the Ontario Land Tribunal and enhancing deference to municipal planning decisions. I think this we should support also.
Well, they were supporting, was it Whitby?
Yeah, they were supporting Whitby.
We support them. Maybe we supported Whitby. I don't know.
I think through them we would support Whitby, so it would connect. Proposeur, M. Duval, seconded by M. Burrows. All in favor? Against? Carried. Next item, 15.3, Township of Pushlinch, again, propose the Planning Act changes, Schedule 7 of the Bill 119, the proposed Protecting Ontario Streets and Communities Act. M. Duval le propose, appuyeur, seconded by M. Burrows. All in favor? Against? Carried. 15.4, Township of Tudor and Cashel, request for renew of extended producer responsibility for 1 pound single-use propane cylinders. Encore, je pense que c'est juste du common sense. C'est des petits containers, on devrait supporter. We should support. Mr. Burrows, seconded by Mr. Lalonde. All in favor? Against? Carried. Correspondance pour information, 16.1, la marche des femmes 2026 qui va avoir lieu à Chute-à-Blondeau le 16 septembre 2026 à 18h. Donc, pour les gens qui veulent supporter les femmes et leur chemin, vous êtes les bienvenus à participer le 16 septembre à Chute-à-Blondeau. On s'en va à question period. Any member of the public in regards to this evening's agenda are permitted to ask questions. Pas de questions? No questions? Item numéro 18, announcements. Comme vous l'avez vu, M. François Turpin, notre directeur général par intérim, bienvenue à notre municipalité, bienvenue à notre première, initiation, à votre première initiation. Notre conseil. Donc, bienvenue à l'équipe. Champlain, je sais que vous êtes un résident de Champlain, donc c'est bienvenue à la table du conseil plus que d'autres choses et à travers l'administration. Donc, merci d'être là. On a une belle municipalité, comme vous le savez, puis on fait tout le possible pour faire des bonnes choses. Donc, le discours est à vous, Pasteur. Good. Merci beaucoup. In-camera meeting, on s'en va négocier, mais on s'en va conclure notre in-camera. Donc, il nous restait un item. Donc, vous n'êtes pas obligé de nous quitter. Vous êtes les bienvenus à rester. On va s'évader pour une couple de minutes, puis on va revenir à la fin de le close meeting pour continuer à conclure la réunion du conseil. Donc, I'll need a mover and a seconder to go in close meeting. M. Lalonde, appuyé de Mme Bigelow. All in favor? Those against? Carried. OK, nous sommes de retour. We are back. So we'll go to item number 20, which is next meeting. So we have the Committee of the Whole, if required, September 10th, 2026. And we have also a regular council meeting on September 24, 2026. Confirming bylaw, item number 21.1. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-56, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting of August 20th, 2026, be passed. Proposeur, appuyeur, mover and seconder. Madame Bigelow, seconded by Monsieur Lalonde. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. Item number 22, l'adjournement. Be it resolved that this regular council meetings be adjourned at 8:42 p.m. Proposeur. Mr. Barton, appuyé de Monsieur Roy. All in favor? Against? Carried. Merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.